Welcome back to Long Box Diving, where we explore comics and story arcs pulled from the long box. And it is yet another Saturday in another week where we really did not have new comic books. I mean, there was some new comic books, granted. There were some that were shipped out. There was some digital stuff that was new. But overall, for the most part, it was not new comic book day. Now, I heard from my LTS that we're supposed to have a new comic book day starting May 20th. Diamond is going to be shipping out those things, which I personally think were there, and we were supposed to get them in March, and now kind of is finally going to ship them out. I don't know why it took so long, but we should be getting Thor. I only saw a couple things in there that I was like, yeah, I can't wait for that. But most of it was like, whatever, reprints and that kind of stuff. All right, so that's first thing. So new comic book day is coming up May 20th. So we only have a couple more weeks of you having to watch us review new to you comic books that you may have read before, that I've read before, but it's fun. Maybe we'll continue doing this. You don't know. Maybe it was cool. All right. Second issue. As you see, the young whippersnapper is not here. Unfortunately, the young whippersnapper has not finished his geometry homework. So he is still doing schoolwork at the moment, so he can finish up for the year. And that means no streaming today, unfortunately. The old fogey has to do it on his own, by himself, man the desk, and show you all the things that I got. And unfortunately, you have to deal with just the old guy for a while. Sorry. And the third thing, before we get to our new comic books or new to you comic book reviews, quick fire, I heard that Allegiance Arts, if you don't know what that is, Mitch and Elizabeth Bratweiser has started a company called Allegiance Arts. They had like Norris Saga, Bass Reeves, The Futurists. So there's 3 books a part of that. They did an Indiegogo. They successfully fulfilled it. I got those books somewhere over here. I read all 3 of them. They were fantastic. What I did hear is that they are supposed to be in Walmart's about 3,380 something Walmart stores starting the 5th. Now, I've seen on Twitter where other people were already getting the books out of Walmart. And I thought, hey, I've been waiting on Red Rooster forever. Part 1 of the Red Rooster thing is supposed to be in the Walmart store. So why don't I go ahead and see if I can find it? Other people are finding it in the store already. I know it's still a little early, but other people are finding it there. So I asked my wife, hey, could you do me a favor? I know you're the purveyor of all things shopping. You're really good at it. You can figure it out. Is these books in those stores before I drive? And she looked at the one south of us. It's there. They looked at the one right around the corner. It shows it's there. They looked at the one up north of us. It's there. They looked at one way up in Jacksonville. That was there. So I went, hey, it should be in the store. It's in the stores. It's in the store, so I can go get it. So I drove south because I had to go down there anyway. Went into the store. Couldn't find it anywhere. It's supposed to be in the book section. So I went to the book section and I looked. No Allegiance Arts, no display, nothing. Now, granted, it's early. I get it, so I don't fault anybody for this, except for maybe Walmart for putting it out in some places, but not others. So I went to that store, couldn't find it. Nowhere. I went to the geek aisle. I did finally find in the geek aisle the Superman, Batman, DC 100 big books, and I did find some Marvel books in there, but they're old ones that they shrink wrap it together, and all the corners are bent. I'm like, I'm not buying this crap. All right, but it wasn't a geek aisle. I did see that there, but I did not see the Allegiance Art stuff, which is kind of like, bummer. So I went to one around the corner, came home, went to one around the corner, and it's not in there either. So I went search. I was walking, got my mask on, got my gloves, having to go around, and the Walmart here, they have tape, and you're supposed to go certain ways down the aisle, trying to obey all the directions and keep my social distancing. Get to the books, and it's not there. So I go to the games, and I'm not there. And I go to the kids' toys, and it's not there. I go to the geek aisle, and it's not there. So I was sad. I was very sad. And then I went north. I went to another Walmart. Same thing. Not there. Went all the way up to Jacksonville. Not there. So not in stores yet. My wife's on the phone today in the store with me. She goes like, I know they said it had it in stock. So she pulls it up. All the other stores I went to shows out of stock now. The store we're in shows in stock, but can't find it anywhere. So I don't know what's going on. I do know it's early. So I'm going to go back on the 5th and see if I can find Red Rooster. I already got the other 3. Now, those 3 were really pretty good. Basseries was really cool. Real life true story of a Texas Ranger. Man, and it was cool. I think he was the first black Texas Ranger. Very cool story. And then they put it into a comic book format. Nora Saga, I think it's done by what's her face? I forgot her name. But she's doing Catwoman right now. Blake Northcott. And that Nora Saga was very fantastic. She has some type of magical power and gets teleported into the past with the Vikings. Cool stuff. The Futurist was a little weird, and I didn't quite get it. I'm sure I'll get it maybe in the next chapter. It's supposed to be 6 chapters, and then they'll put it together and issue a trade paperback. So it should be cool. It should be in all the Walmarts. I recommend them. They're really pretty good. So I did read those. I'll share with you. All right. So now on to our quick fire review for today. Again, just the old fogey. I will share now. Granted, a lot of what I read this week is trade paperbacks. I went to Ollie's because I was forced to go to Winn-Dixie and pick up some groceries, and it's a mandatory requirement. If I go to Winn-Dixie, I have to go to Ollie's because they're right next to each other. And Ollie's sells. I mean, this is my current read. Daredevil End of Days. And you can see here, $5.99. So this has got eight books in it. 8 books in it. $5.99. I mean, that is a fantastic price. Now this is a soft cover, but this one is the story of when Daredevil gets killed by Bullseye. All right, like in front of everybody. All right, so we have, some of the art in here. Of course, this was written by Brian Michael Bendis and David Mack. Klaus Johnson did the pencils. And look at this. It's crazy stuff. All right. And Daredevil just gets creamed out in front of everybody. Everybody's videotaping it. And it basically is just Urich trying to figure out what's going on. And he's doing the narration through the book. He is hitting up all these old people that were associated with Daredevil. He tries to find Black Widow. Apparently, now this is interesting. I found this book so far. Black Widow apparently had a relationship with Daredevil. I did not know that. But in this book, they're saying she was dead. Nick Fury shows up, says she's dead. Then he goes and finds Mila, who doesn't appear to be blind anymore. So Mila was blind in this one. So I don't know why in this one Mila's not blind anymore. I don't know what happened. But look at this young gentleman right there. Huh? Yeah. He's got red hair. So did Matt Murdock and Mila have a baby? She's married to somebody else now. So I don't know. But then Urich goes and has a conversation with Elektra. Yeah, look at that. Elektra. All right. And apparently Elektra is now mommy. And she has a son with red hair that she calls Matthew. All right. So now Daredevil has a kid with Mila. Daredevil has a kid with Elektra. Now this is Typhoid Mary. Look at that. Typhoid Mary. 2 redheads, twins. Now he goes, are they Matt's? And she's like, I don't know, they're hers. So apparently it was Typhoid Mary's. Of course she has that split personality deal. So Matt has 4 kids. I know y'all can count. 4 kids. Then he has a relationship with this other, I think, Sonar, or I can't remember her name. But she was an Avengers. She was deaf. Deaf. I don't remember her name. I'll have to remember it later. But so they show that relationship, and then so far, very good book. Definitely recommend. Again, I have issues with Bendis's writing in nowadays comics, but this one was actually really pretty good. Bendis is when I was reading the New Avengers, Bendis did good. The Ultimate Spider-Man Bendis did good. The X-Men stuff has been good. That was good. All right. So Bendis, I can't complain with that one. I'm not finished with it, but so far, definitely a recommend. Then I picked up at Ollie's. Look at that. Look how thick that Joker is. Batman Superman Volume 5. I've gotten 2, 3, 4, and now 5. This is issues 50 through 63 with the annual number 3 in it as well. This was really good. A lot of different story arcs in here. So we mixed a lot of different story arcs. We have Mexaplixel, what's his face in there? Bringing like the miniature superheroes in, and then like miniature Superman dies. They have where somehow Batman's father gets teleported way back in the past. Batman's father was driving through Kansas, sees a crystal, picks it up. It teleports his consciousness to Krypton, where he meets Superman's dad. And they kind of discuss him bringing, that planet. And so they sent Superman to that planet because of Batman's father. And that was really cool. So now they're like, hey, maybe we are really more like brothers than we thought. We have where Superman's powers get stripped from him and brought to Batman. And Batman had really hard time giving them back. We had where they go to the microscopic realm. We have a split Batman where he was like both Batman and Superman together. We have a dream dude, the Dr. Dream. I can't remember his name now, but Dr. Destiny, who kind of puts everybody in a dream and makes a group called the Teen Justice. Here, let me see if I can show you a picture. It was actually pretty cool. Oh yeah, Justice Titans. Look at that, the Justice Titans. And so we have Star Canary, Aquaborg, Hawkbeast, Flash, Night Lantern, and Donna Wonder. So it was cool stuff. It was a really good book. A lot of different good story arcs. Some were better than others. Some of the art had different artists between this arc. So some art was better than others. Some was like, that's okay. A nice little side mission with Robin and Wonder, Supergirl. Hey, Aggressively, how you doing, man? Yeah, definitely. I'll keep you company while you're doing chores. You can listen to me ramble on, because I'll ramble on like an old dude. There's no young whippersnapper here to keep me on task. And so it was a really pretty good story, really good book. Definitely, I wouldn't say it's worth normal price because I'm not that big of a fan of Superman Batman. But overall, for $7.99 for like 15 comics, not a bad deal. That was good. All right. Next up, I read Daredevil, the Ultimate Collection, book 2. So Daredevil, Man Without Fear, book 2. Again, this was issues 94 through 100, and I got it for $5.99 at Ollie's. So I'm definitely preaching the value of Ollie's. This was written by Ed Brubaker. Michael Lark did the arts. The art was good. They had some painted sequences in here that was really, really fantastic. The art is okay. It's not my favorite, but it's good for what Daredevil is. And they have some painted covers in here of the show. It's some cool stuff in here. What we get is Dr. Fear. Dr. Fear went to school with Matt Murdock. His name was Ed Larkin. And he created a fear serum. He also created if you remember from the last issue, he created a perfume that helps a woman can wear it. And a man that smells the perfume will remember his most fondest memory. And that memory will then be associated with her. And so they use it to trap Daredevil, and he kept smelling Karen Page, which was the love of his life at the time. Of course, he's married to Mila, and blah, blah, blah. And of course, this woman now is stuck with the perfume. It's now permanently ingrained into her essence, and everywhere she goes, men smell the thing they most desire on her and associates with her, and now men are like fighting over her and all this kind of, and she's like really frustrated. Okay, that came from Dr. Ed Larkin, who is Dr. Fear. Now, Dr. Fear also figured out that you can control a person by using fear. So he had a chemical made up, and then he started messing with Daredevil. And the idea was, hey, you showed me up in school, so I'm going to mess with your life. So he starts messing with the guy who's Gladiator. Of course, he has a multiple personality problem. And it is causing him to be angry when he doesn't mean to be angry, and he's killing people when he doesn't mean to kill people. And always before, it was the Gladiator, and he wasn't a part of it. Now he's just, I didn't do it. Well, he did do it. He just doesn't know how to, he doesn't understand why he did it. He did it. He doesn't understand why he did it. And now he seems not just a split personality. Now he just seems psychopathic. And so it's kind of he's messing with that. He hit Daredevil with it, and of course he's seeing things all over the place, and he's having to fight his way through while he's still being poisoned, and he kind of makes it out. Then they hit Mila with it, his wife, and Mila ends up pushing Lila, the girl with the perfume, pushes her because she's jealous, and it got angry and very, very violent because of the fear drug that was in her, and ended up pushing another man in front of the train. Now Mila's charged with murder, and they're putting her into a mental institution. It went on, and then the Red Cape joins in, and then the wrecking crew gets involved, and then he finds out the perfume girl was working with Dr. Fear at some point, and his life is like just Mila gets put away permanently because she's like really just went crazy, and so Daredevil is like sitting on his own. Dr. Fear gets put in prison, but Mila is like, mind is like switched off. So, we see the end where, Daredevil is just sitting alone in his apartment. And, the Red Cloak's like, hey, yeah, we'll just leave him be, man. He is not the way I go about things. And they totally wrecked that dude. Yeah, they did. They wrecked Daredevil. He just, whew. All right. So that was definitely a recommend. I'm like, man, Ed Brubaker, that was dark. That was dark what you did there. So this Daredevil, Man Without Fear, Ed Brubaker, Michael Lark. This is the Daredevil Ultimate Collection, Volume 2. Definitely recommend. Good stuff. Volume 1 was fantastic as well. Got Volume 2 this week. That was fantastic. And then I picked up, I don't know, I've been on a little bit of a Daredevil kick here because everything I've read so far has been really good. Hey, Lots of Comics, how you doing, man? Welcome to me rambling. As you can see, no young whippersnapper to keep me in line, and so you just have to hear about my books and what I read this week, and hopefully it keeps you entertained. All right, so I read this next, Daredevil Dark Knights. This is a collection. I think it's a mini story. Dark Knights, written by Lee Weeks, David Lampin, and Jimmy Palmiotti. So this actually carried a couple different stories in it. Some were okay. Other was like, all right. So the first one was written by Lee Weeks, Sergio Corella, and Tom Palmer did the art. It's called Angels Unaware. This was really pretty good. Daredevil wakes up in a hospital. Hey, Superior, how you doing, man? Welcome. We're doing just a quick fire review of new to me comics. So comics I picked up this week, mostly just trade paperbacks. Yeah. Dee Dee is good. Is a constant of the universe. That is so far I've been finding that to be very true. Growing up and getting into comics, I was mostly just teams. And so it wasn't until recently that I picked up Ed Zdarsky's Daredevil, and I really started enjoying it. That as I went to Ollie's, I saw trade paperbacks. I started picking up more Daredevil stuff. They had Brubaker, some Bendis. Here is Lee Weeks, Palmiotti, and it's good stuff. Not everything's at the same level. I did read Frank Miller, the Frank Miller run. That was like the quintessential Daredevil thing. And that was fantastic as well. So, yeah. And watch this on the replay as I talk about this one. Fantastic. Dr. Fear is great. I was like, I'm looking at the book going, man, that was just brutal, Mr. Brubaker. It was crazy what he did. All right, so in here, Dark Knights. So the first story arc in here is called Angels Unaware. Basically, Daredevil wakes up in an emergency room and doesn't quite know who he is. He's kind of out of it. But one thing he does here is that there's a young girl upstairs that needs her heart transplant. The helicopter is supposed to be on its way, but there's a huge snowstorm, whiteout event in New York, and they're still waiting on the helicopter. So he goes out. They figured out the doctor opens his case, sees he's Daredevil. Like, just give me the case. I'll go find the heart. He goes out in the snow to find the heart. He ends up finding the elevator or the helicopter. The helicopter crashed into a big sign over the Hudson or whatever river it was, and the helicopter falls into the river. He dives in, saves the guy. Here's the heart still beating in the case. It has some special type of pump. He grabs it, pulls it out, and he's half frozen. He just dove into a freezing water. Now he's walking through the snowstorm trying to get back. He ends up hearing some woman getting the guy grabbed her and was going to rape her, and he breaks in, protects the woman, and then falls down, right? A rescue mission guy finds him, drags him to the rescue mission, puts him back into, gets him warmed up, takes the bag, and starts walking. Well, that's when bad guys show up, and they're trying to figure out where Daredevil is because of what happened before. Daredevil comes and saves him again and grabs the heart, carries the dude through the snowstorm back into the hospital, sits down in the basement and listens while they finish the surgery, and they successfully save the girl. Good story. Good Daredevil story. Then we get to this middle story, and this was the one I was like, I mean, it wasn't bad, but it was like, there's like a little, they keep calling him midget. They call it midget, but the guy's like this tall. His name is like Buggett. His name is Buggett, and he seems to be able to jump really far and seems to be super strong. Daredevil has a whole run-in with a girl in a towel, and she's like inviting him in. And he's like, well, maybe later, maybe ring check. I got to go catch a gremlin. I'm like, and Buggett gets a gun and tries to save this girl, and the girl's husband dies, and he gets all mad, so he's going to go kill the mobster that killed the dude. And, they stop him from blowing that guy up, and the guy tries to get away, but the big monster lands on top of him. And I'm like, it was okay. All right, then the last story was In the Name of the King. We get to see Misty Knight. Misty Knight's in some African tropical paradise thing, and Daredevil meets up. I guess there's some case or something, and they're protecting a dude. The dude gets kidnapped, and Agent Keller, so they're racing through, trying to save this person. Just scene after scene of them running through the building and fighting with bad guys and getting shot at. And then this lady's screaming the whole time. So the only way to shut her up is he kissed her, which could be considered assault. Everybody understands that. That was without consent. So he shouldn't have done that. And then Misty goes, would you do that to me? He goes, well, would you be naked? Daredevil, man. Bad dude. All right. So then they find out that Misty Knight, the bad guy in this, this was a great scene. They get blown out of the sky. Misty Knight, the guy they're going after is Misty Knight's old boyfriend. And he was trying to get her. He's got this sidekick, and they're shooting everybody. They try to kill Daredevil, and Daredevil and Misty get captured. She's just meeting her boyfriend here. All right. So this was more of a Misty Knight story with Daredevil involved. And they're able to Daredevil goes in and finally saves Misty Knight because she was all chained up, and they go together, and they beat the assistant. Yeah, Daredevil, man, he's playing the game, and he's going to get himself in trouble All right. And then they rescue the person, they bring him back, and they spend the rest of the vacation or protecting whoever on the beach. And you can see that, but he gives her a nice smooch. And I believe that one was with consent. So he should be all right with that one. All right. And then we're almost done. Thanks for sticking with me for 25 minutes of my rambling. All right, I just have a few more minutes of rambling. And then, hey. So what I read afterwards, I started reading some of the Exiles that I've got. I got this one, which was okay. And that I've noticed, I thought Exiles was good. For the first 12, 20 issues, I remember it being pretty good. I don't remember finishing the series ever. And I lost them and they're gone, but I don't remember why I never finished it. I'm starting to realize why I never finished the run. This one was kind of okay. There was a werewolf boy who was joining werewolves, and they fought, and the werewolves taught up morph, cut up and ripped morph up, and they beat Wolverine. 3 werewolves beat Wolverine. Maybe it wasn't a Wolverine from our dimension. I don't know, but it was okay. And then I read this Exiles, which ties into M Day, House of M, not M Day, House of M. And this was number 70, Exile 70. This was 29, 70. So there's a lot of missing pieces here. But apparently they come back to the normal 616, and a lot has changed. Beak's girlfriend, wife, Angel, they had a bunch of babies. Beak had joined the team and traveled through other dimensions and came back. And then, he found out everything's changed because of Wanda. Again, everything changed. And now House of M, which the mutants are now in control and humans are the minority. And I think she had somebody taking over her brain, and she tries to kill Beak. It was okay. It was okay story. It was just okay. And then we have Exiles number 83. And here we have Blink's Choice. Now in here, Beddard and Jones, I don't know who Beddard is. The art was okay. The art's okay in all these. But this story here was basically a lot of people died, and Blink decided to take Nightcrawler back to the X-Men. I think. Not 100% sure what was happening because I got a little bored and I may have skipped a lot of word bubbles. So, and that's not a good thing. If I'm bored, I'm like, that's not a good comic. It didn't keep me interested. The art was great. The art was pretty good. And then again, it's probably because I didn't read 81 or 82, right? 70. I didn't read anything from 70 to 80, 83. So maybe it's because of that. Maybe there's a build up to this that I needed to read to get the payoff here. Well, Lost in Comics, it's what I'd like to try. What I try to do is I try to, as I'm collecting new comics, I try to group them together before I sort them into the boxes. Because I want to make sure I read them before I put them away, because sometimes I forget and I don't want to forget. So what I tend to do is I group anything that's new. I try to group all the Exiles together. As I buy new stuff, I try to group things I have not read into groupings of series. But I just happened to get to this box before I've gotten any more Exiles. So I like to read them in an arc, as single issues. I don't mind reading arcs together. I actually prefer it, but I don't mind reading single issues because I think some single issues should be able to stand on their own. I should be able to jump in, understand what's going on, and then get to the end of it and feel like I'm ready to read the next one. Even if I don't have it, I want that feeling. I want to read the next one. So I don't mind reading them in single issues, but I do prefer reading them in an arc. I read through a box at a time. So as I sort things into boxes, I'll grab a box and I'll read through the box. And I'll try to sort. If I find new stuff as I'm buying, I sort them in, and then I keep read them as a story. Trying to read them as an arc. But it doesn't necessarily bother me too much. And I'm sure I probably have some more Exiles somewhere in here. Hey, let's see if I can. You see, I have a couple stacks of books behind me. I have all those stacks over there. I have all those stacks over there. There's 4 or 5 boxes here. There's 3 boxes up there. There's a box behind. There's 3, 4 boxes behind me. That's probably dizzying. I've got 3 boxes right here, 4 boxes here, 5 boxes, a box, 2 more boxes. I have 5 boxes over here I haven't read. So, I try to sort and keep them together, but sometimes I miss it and I end up reading things out of order or in multiple boxes. But when I do sort into the closet, which is where I've got my 40 other boxes, that's the collection, right? That stuff over there gets sorted into by series and by number. So they'll be in order. And then, I've got enough right now to just continue just reading for probably the next year, 2 and a year and a half with what I have. So I won't get back into those story arcs until later. Now, what we were doing is we were actually pulling books out to do old story arc reviews, and like I did the Amazing Spider-Man old story arc review called the Round Robin's Revenge Round Robin Sidekick's Revenge. It was like 5 issues long. I read the arc. I did a review on the arc. I don't know. Nobody seems to really like them all that much, so I haven't done any since then. We do one-offs every so often, but for the most part, I do like reading arcs in an arc, but I'll read them single issue as I read through a box, and as I read through the box, they get sorted into the main collection because they've already been in my haul videos, and they've already been read, and they've already been cataloged, and now they go into the collection. So I'm doing my best, man. But yeah, I do prefer reading them in arcs, but I don't care. It doesn't bother me too much. All right, well, that's it for today. Again, yeah, and it's hard to judge a book off one single issue because sometimes it's paced for 3, 4, 5. So you sometimes get the slow. When you're reading a comic, you get like a hook to get you caught in, and then you get some explanation of what's going on a little bit, some slowdown, some fight, some slowdown, some fight, and a conclusion, right? You kind of get that in a story of 28 pages, whatnot. But when you do an arc, if the writer writes it in an arc, he's writing it for a different pacing than a single comic. So sometimes we have the hook, that's one issue. Then you got the fight and some explanation, second issue. Then you get a slowdown issue where it kind of, you get some character development, things are happening in emotional levels. And then you come back in and you get some more fight, and then you get a conclusion, right? When you have that and you read the slowdown issue, you're like, I don't know what's going on because you missed the second issue. I don't know. I don't like it because there's not a lot of action because you didn't get first, second, or fourth issue. You got the third issue. And when you're in that, it's like, yeah. All right. So it's hard to judge. Terrible comic. I don't recommend it. I can't say that because I don't know. I haven't read the ones going around it. I don't know if it's in an arc. I mean, I could go look it up, and I'm sure I could Google it, but I don't know if it's necessarily an arc. Then it may actually be good as an arc, and it may be a good issue within the arc. I don't know. So, it's hard to review a comic when you haven't read the whole arc. I can just say, as an individual comic, it kind of bored me. And honestly, the slowdown pieces of story arcs bored me. I like action. Jay has gotten in here, and he likes dialogue and character, so he would love it. But me, D, the old man, I like action. I like the little slowdown pacing because it helps your brain. When as reading the stories, you need those pieces of slowdown time. But a whole slowdown issue, I'm like, unless it's in something like this where I'm reading the whole thing at once, then it works. But in a single issue where you have to wait another month, that does not work. I don't like it. It's just way my brain works. But again, this is my current read, Bendis Daredevil. I normally don't recommend anything Bendis, but this was actually really pretty good. Definitely recommend. The death of Daredevil, and Urich trying to figure out what his last words mean. Fantastic. Superman, Batman, okay. It was good. Not worth cover price, but definitely worth cheap at Ollie's. It was $7.99 for 15 issues. So for Ollie's, that was a good price and definitely worth the read at that price. This was worth the read at cover price. Fantastic book. Issues 94 through 105. Dr. Fear messing with Daredevil and totally just wrecked his life. That was good stuff. And then Daredevil wrecked his life. Well, sort of, because now Dr. Fear has it internalized, where now he doesn't have to take the drug anymore. He just eschews fear, and everybody, he controls like the prison now. This was good. Some of it was good. Some of it was like, Mr. Bucket was not a great story. It was kind of the Daredevil one was more of the Misty Knight one was more of a Misty Knight story with Daredevil to the rescue at the end, and Misty Knight. It was okay. I mean, it was okay. That was the Palmiotti story, and these were all individually okay. But I may realize why I didn't continue buying it past like issue 20, 30, something like that, the first time through. But I'm more of a completionist now than I was before, so I'm more into like I'm gonna buy them because I want all of them than it was good or not. So that was our new to you comic review from the old fogey and the young whippersnapper who had to stay out there and do his geometry homework because he hadn't finished it yet. And it's Saturday. So he's stuck out there doing math, and I'm in here having fun. That is the privilege of doing your stuff on time. As he watches this, he'll be like, dude. All right. So thanks everybody for joining us. Lots of comics aggressively. I know you're probably doing housework. Thanks for joining us and listening to me ramble. I appreciate it. Superior for showing, coming up and saying hi. Lots of comics. Thanks for sticking with me for as long as you have and listening to my rambling about old comics that I read recently and they're new to me. Thanks, guys. We'll see you tomorrow at 5:30. We will be doing our judging books by their covers. Great game. We're gonna maybe throw out the link to a couple people, see if we can get a guest to come on and join our game. And we have a lot of fun with it if you're here. So appreciate it, guys. Thanks, and have a great weekend and a great stuck in your house day. We should be free soon. All right, bye.